the Budhole Podcast. Welcome to the Budhole. It's your chance, do your dance at the Budhole.
Here's a hot take.
Guess who's back? Back again. Budhole's back. Tell your friends.
Budhole coming at you.
We just want to say before this thing starts, thank you so much to our loyal listeners, and here you go with another great Budhole podcast. Brought to you by Lamar, Brandon, Gages Rage, and Scott on the Budhole Podcast Network. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Budhole. I am Scott B.
And this is Lamar coming at ya.
And,
It's a little quiet there in the end of the table.
yeah, Gage, where are you?
Gage isn't here, guys. Are you stupid?
Wait, why is he not here? What happened to him?
I think he passed.
He didn't pass. He may soon, though, so let's not joke about it. He came in down with an illness. He's always been down with the sickness. And he got a COVID test today, so we banned him from the Budhole for the time being. Hopefully he got whatever he got after last Monday. Otherwise, you might not be hearing from us anymore.
That'd be a damn shame.
But if we all had it, we'd be fine to be together.
I don't think I'd leave my house. I don't think I'd be allowed in my house. I might have to stay here, Scott.
That's fine. You can stay here anytime, bro.
Thanks.
Friendship.
Friendship is rare.
Yeah, well, I like to pretend. As far as that goes, though, are you guys team just get it and be done with it, and hopefully not, then never get it again, or are you team hopefully not have to get it at all?
I'm team hopefully they come up with a vaccine that everyone else gets and I don't have to get it.
Yeah, kind of like the anti-vaxxers. If everybody else gets the polio vaccine, you don't have to worry about it.
Right.
Or the chicken pox, or the smallpox, or the whatever else there is out there. I don't even know.
I'm classic. I'm pretty sure I got it back in December.
Oh, so
Somehow.
you're already
Immune.
golden. Immune to it, yes.
I had a week where I had, like, diarrhea.
No, that's not bad. That's definitely a symptom of it, so I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, with Gage being out, we'll be able to get into some real deep diving on sports, because as far as I know, everybody that we're going to be talking about on this show, we all know the names of everybody, so that's a good thing.
It's a good start. Rebuttal Gage? Nothing to say.
That's a better point than you've made all year.
Nice job, dude. We're proud of you.
This is going to be his shining podcast.
It's his best podcast
Yeah.
of the year.
He's really just going to shine bright like a diamond this episode.
No, don't listen to what people say about you. You're not that dumb when you just don't open your mouth, Gage.
But with that being said, a little bit of Minnesota news, because we're a Minnesota-based podcast. The Vikings extended Rick Spielman today. Was it today or yesterday? Nonetheless.
Finalized it today.
Yep. And then also made a trade for a defensive tackle to replace Pierce.
Hopefully not to replace him.
Well, yeah.
To replace his roster spot.
In his absence.
Yeah. Because he's not going to be a 91 on Madden, I can guarantee you that.
Is that what Pierce was?
Yep.
Holy mackerel, that's going to suck to lose.
He was damn good.
What do you think Madden does with all the players that are opting out? Are they still going to be on the game?
I bet you they'll be in the game, but they'll be placed on like the COVID list, so you're going to have to manually put them on your team if you want to play with them.
Or like if
Same as if like Alex Smith's been in the game for this whole
Yeah.
time. You just have to pull him up off of your IR.
Yeah.
So like if you go to do a franchise, you'll be able to have those players. Whereas if you
Yeah.
go to play online, they'll be considered injured.
I bet. Speaking of which, we're only like 3 weeks away from that, boys.
I know. I'm excited.
I was actually just thinking about pre-ordering it the other day because I was like, shit, that's coming up fast.
And then how we'll wait for the video game talkers. There's a lot of ones coming up that I'm excited for.
Yeah, there is. We'll wait and talk about that a little bit next episode because we do got a picture, I guess, that Superfan Joe tagged us in on Facebook.
Yeah.
Asking us about basically our take on microtransactions and then as well as DLCs and having to pay for them and how most companies do it separate from... I mean, EA is about the worst when it comes to microtransactions, but we'll get into that next episode.
Trying to make that bread.
As for this episode, regarding NFL talkers, baseball, a little bit of basketball, I'll be the first to admit I haven't watched a single second of basketball since it came back. But
I'm
I've
just
been out
waiting
of
for
town.
real sports to come back.
Lots of highlights.
Lots of
Follow
highlights.
NBA on Instagram. That's all you need.
Was it
to see what matters.
Was it the Lakers and Clippers that opened up the opening night, and that was a pretty good game?
Great game,
Yep.
yeah. And the Celtics, Bucks had a good game. Houston Bucks had a great game last night.
Well, high scoring.
They're playing, yeah. You got to think, with these players being in the bubble, this is the only time in their entire life that they can focus 100% on basketball. Do you think that makes a difference for them? Do you think everyone's improving, or do you think people are trying to find a way to distract themselves from basketball?
No, I think it's best for, especially the middle of the road players, I think it's best for them.
Well, I think it's best for them, but I don't think that's what they're doing. I mean, you see some players bring in their whole computer and video game setup and just, they're gaming in their off time.
Yeah. They just need to watch The Last Dance, and all of them will get motivated.
But LeBron, you don't think LeBron's locked in? He's locked in. James Harden, obviously, last night was locked in. From what I saw,
played defense.
Yeah, he freaking shut down Giannis Antetokounmpo at the end of the game, the Greek freak. So he's locked in. Harden never plays defense. That's about all I know. It was just shit I was reading on Twitter.
It's more than I know.
Yeah. But that wraps up basketball talk, so that's good. As far as the MLB goes, Twins went 3-1 this weekend against the Indians, which was a good get for them. Their pitching continues to kind of be the bright spot of the team so far. The bats have been a little bit hit and miss, but they are 7-1, I think it is.
Something like that.
With the bats not quite coming alive yet, so they're looking pretty good.
When can we name ourselves the 2020 COVID season World Series champions?
When it closes down in about a couple weeks from now.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to have the banner that's a few games over 500.
Yep.
We're going to be the Central Florida of baseball.
There's a real chance that we might have the best record in baseball when the season shuts down. And at that point, you almost have to claim victory.
I'd claim it.
Because, I mean, you have the Marlins now who aren't playing right now, and then you got the Cardinals who are in a real sticky situation. It's only going to get worse. But not to be too dark about it.
Well, back to Spielman then.
Yeah.
You guys like the signing?
I do.
Their extension.
I do.
I like keeping the band together. It's always nice to have continuity. And if you guys saw anything with Diggs and the Twitter beef,
I saw he
online.
Cheap shot at the Vikes over something, but I didn't see what it was.
Classic.
Apparently, there's been beefing going on between Bills fans and Minnesota fans. And there was a Bills fan who tweeted, "Can all of you guys stop following Stephon Diggs? You wasted his talent. He's ours now. Thank you." And he responded and he said, "Tell him." And then he actually rebutted to it because Minnesota fans were pissed. And he said, "I went through 5 quarterbacks and 4 offensive coordinators in 5 years. That's got to be rough as a wide receiver." I don't know if it's wasting his talent. We did make the playoffs 3 years out of that. But it is, now having that continuity, it's got to be hard. So that's why I'm saying it's nice to have Zimmer and Spielman back. Keep some continuity in some places, even if it's not in your coaching staff.
I don't think we necessarily wasted his talent. He still had good years. I mean, you could consider that any wide receiver that plays for a not top-end quarterback, their talent is wasted.
Hopkins has used that in his defense.
But he still shines. I mean, I don't think his talent is wasted. How much more production is he going to get if he has a Drew Brees versus...
For career-wise, probably a lot. When he's talking about the Julio Joneses and the Michael Thomases right now being ranked above him in best wide receivers, he's like, come on, guys. If I had Matt Ryan or Drew Brees thrown to me my entire career, my stats would look a lot different than they are right now.
Yeah, but also for the last few years, the Vikings have been a better team than Atlanta, too.
And Cousins put up good numbers his first year.
And we beat the Saints twice in the playoffs in the last 5 years.
I'm just saying continuity helps.
It does matter.
Even if they're not the best quarterback in the league, having the same quarterback year in, year out, and the same offensive that you're running year in, year out, allows for improvement, and that can never really happen. He kind of had a shine on his own.
What about Randy, though?
Randy's a freak.
Yeah, but he went
7
through
days a week.
Quarterbacks. Calvin Johnson, he went through a fair share there at the beginning. I mean, they all, it happens to everybody.
If you don't have a Hall of Fame quarterback, you run the risk of having a turntable at the position, and you're just going to be dealing with it as a receiver. Now, I would argue Diggs really showed his true talent because no matter who the quarterback was, he was pretty decent, and in some cases better than that. I mean, his rookie year he was pretty good, and that was Bridgewater as a rookie, and Bridgewater wasn't supposed to start. Was that Diggs' rookie year? Were they both rookies the same year?
They both 14?
It was close. It might have been Diggs' second year. But
I think it was Bridgewater was before.
So maybe it was Bridgewater's second year, Diggs' rookie year.
Diggs was 15.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. But I just remember that game in Denver where they both shined. And they both looked really good.
Week 4.
Yeah. But outside of that, you look at Vikings offensive coordinator situation. Part of it was anytime Zimmer had an offensive coordinator that had success, they got a head coaching gig.
And anytime they sucked, they left midseason.
Right. So it was the best. It was kind of both ends of the spectrum with no in between.
Yeah. DiFilippo and Norv. Yeah.
And then you had Shermer, and then you had
Brown's head
Stefanski.
coach.
Yep. So it was kind of just the worst of both worlds as far as that goes. But
yeah, he's just whining. We didn't waste his talent.
I just think like you don't exactly look at the Buffalo Bills. Now it could change, but you don't look at the Buffalo Bills as this model situation for offensive supreme talent. They haven't had a stud on offense in that team for so long.
No.
So, like, you're going there and you're expecting it to be a lot better. We'll see. You have a quarterback that looks promising. He doesn't have a high completion percentage, though. Kirk Cousins was way more efficient than Josh Allen is.
But where did Stephon Diggs shine? Deep ball?
That's what
Josh
Allen
can throw a deep ball.
I mean, if your Diggs
15
good for,
yards passes wide out.
Yeah. Well, if your Diggs, it's good for you that you're excited about your situation, but it's a lot easier to sit and complain when you're at a team for the first time and you haven't actually played with this new team.
Yeah, I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way when a player complains about a place that brought you in, brought you up, and made you a star.
Yeah.
Not to say he wouldn't have been a star anywhere else, but he shined here. It's not like he wasn't considered one of the best in the game while he played with us.
Well, not everybody. A lot of people called Diggs and Thielen the best 1-2 punch in football.
Yeah.
Arguably the best 1-2 punch. And there's 1-2 punches you could say are better, but you could definitely argue for Diggs and Thielen.
Yeah.
No matter what.
So we'll see how it goes for him.
It is kind of funny, though, like when you see NFL players comment on a regular, just an average Joe's Twitter post. Like, if you're that average Joe, you got to feel pretty sweet.
As long as they're not roasting you.
Yeah, that's true. That wouldn't be good.
There's also a video posted of him going one-on-one in shorts against his brother. His brother locked him up. That might have been...
Where did his brother get drafted to?
Dallas.
And Dallas needed a cornerback, so that's cool, though. I mean, the two Diggs brothers being in the NFL together, they are only going to play each other once every 4 years, but
probably better for him.
For Stephon. Oh wait, is he going to hear that and call me out? Shit.
Ah, damn it!
I don't know why I just said that.
In other news, we signed PJ Hall, or traded for PJ Hall, 7th round pick for a 2nd round talent.
Oh, PJ Hall, yeah. Gage, what's your take on that? God, once again,
genius.
He's just having a shining podcast.
Brilliant.
So stoic over there.
Absolutely. He's like, who? PJ who?
So mostly coming in, we think, just to add depth. We don't think that he's going to be the guy that takes over if things go south with Pierce, which I don't think they will.
I mean, you got a 7th rounder, a conditional 7th rounder is what you gave up for him. A team's not going to take that for anyone who's going to be an immediate starter. So unless he has like one of those weird fluky seasons where he all of a sudden plays up to his potential when he got drafted, I can't see him being anything more than depth.
It's only his 3rd year.
Is it possible that he just wasn't a scheme fit in Las Vegas with Gruden's Tampa 2 defense? Not that Gruden runs Tampa 2, but that's what he was successful with in Tampa.
And I mean, if you're running, you need 2 big D tackles in the middle. He's not like a big guy. 6 foot, 304 pounds. It's not huge.
Plus, the Vikings defensive line coach, Patterson, is one of the best in the business. I guess he's the defensive coordinator now, co-defensive coordinator.
Yep.
And D-line coach. But, I mean, who knows? Bring him in. The Vikings still have functional defensive linemen without Pierce. I mean, you're missing Pierce is a stud when he's healthy.
He would have been our second best D lineman.
Yeah, you still have functional players there, so if he can come in and contribute a little, who knows? Plus, who knows? There could be a cut at some point that they scoop up another guy, and they'll be okay. I'm definitely glad that the Vikings didn't have 8, 9, 10 guys opt out like New England. That list just keeps growing.
Tanking for Tua.
Then there was the situation with McCourty and thinking about sitting out the year, speculation that he might, and then the NFL moved the deadline for players to announce they're sitting out, and I think they moved it up. I don't remember how many days, but he was pissed at the NFL for moving it up.
So what happens if they opt out after? They just don't get paid?
So if you just decide to opt out for safety reasons, you get a $150,000 stipend, and your contract pushes. So it doesn't count for your contract year. If you have an actual illness, that's a reason to opt out, and there's certain medical clearances. I think only a couple of players have actually got it.
Like, would Pierce have it with asthma?
I don't think Pierce. I think he was an optional opt-out.
Okay.
Because, I mean, obesity is one of the things that every offensive and defensive lineman, besides Aaron Donald, could probably call that and say, I can't play because of it.
But technically, he'd probably be considered obese by
probably,
the standards.
Yeah. But that man is not obese.
No, definitely not.
He's obese. How are his abs compared to Zeke's, Gage?
Super sexy.
Oh, he's shining.
Yeah. They're good. Yeah, so they didn't count him for that. So his contract will start essentially next year.
Okay.
He will make $150,000 from the NFL this year. I'm talking quiet again, but I'm trying to think of the player who does get it. And their contract counts. If you get the $350, it counts as a contract year.
Okay.
You don't get paid what your contract is, but if you're on your fourth year of your rookie deal, you'll become a free agent next year.
So, I guess it's going to get to be muddy waters, and I think coaches like Belichick are going to be able to use that loophole because, like with Pierce, his contract, we still have him for 3 years, even after this year, right?
Correct.
So how does that work with salary cap? Because obviously, like, Spielman works the salary cap to make it so we can sign all these players, but some of them have back-laden deals, some of them have front-laden deals.
And he wants them to run out separately, so they're not all running out on the same year.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a certain amount of that cap hit for this year that the team absorbs into the salary cap. So it ends up, from the way that I understand it, that first year, some of that money is going to get absorbed this year, and then it's going to lessen the cap hit for the next 3 years, which I would assume the third year would end up being the year that gets the most taken off. So that ends up being the most team-friendly deal, which it generally is anyways. But I know the Vikings don't get their full cap amount back just because he announced he's sitting out. They only get back like $4.5 million.
Okay. Because, yeah, that could cause issues. You know what I mean?
You got a player like Vic Beasley who signed a 1-year deal and got a huge signing bonus and then opted out. So does he have to pay the signing bonus back? Does he get to pocket that and then just come back and play for the rest of it next year? Or?
That would be my guess, but I'm not sure of that.
Because it was mainly a bonus. So he gets all that money still, I think.
Yeah, he will. Well, a lot of times the thing with the signing bonus is they get that money guaranteed on signing. So he may already have that money. He might have got that money right as soon as he signed. So for him, it's like he gets the money, he'll sit out the year, and then next year he'll be back on a 1-year deal. But as far as from a salary cap perspective, it's got to be a mess.
It's got to be.
Especially for, like you're saying, teams that are kind of strapped against the cap and they purposely give somebody a 3-year deal, knowing in that year 4 you're still going to have, knowing that in year 4 you're going to have that contract come off the docket, and then you're going to be able to, say, re-sign your quarterback that you need to and your stud defensive end that you see coming up. It just muddies up everything.
And then you have people like Mahomes who are going to be making around $50 a year.
Yep.
And Williams opts out, and then Williams plays next year.
Yep.
And then I guess how does it work for like rookies and stuff too? Because obviously you still have an influx of however many rookies coming in into next year's draft. Well, now you have Pierce on for 3 years instead of 2 years. So that it changes a lot of different things for him.
Yeah, it really does. It makes it messy. I think the right way to do it would be to make sure that some of that money gets absorbed this year from the team's cap, just so that you're not hit. Just so that you're not hit with a strong 3 years after this year when you didn't sign them thinking you'd be paying 4 years on a 3-year contract, right? But I also don't think that the full salary cap amount shouldn't be taken on to the team this year.
Do you think that they raise the cap to adjust for some of these issues?
You got to think they've talked about it. You know, the NFL and the teams have sat down and kind of at least had some sort of a plan.
Zoom meetings.
Or what you could say is all those players that fit that criteria for that extra year that they sat out could be exempt from the salary cap. So you pay them the agreed upon amount, but it's not taken off of your team's cap situation.
And I suppose that wouldn't affect the players any.
They would still get paid.
Yeah.
There's ways to do it. It's just, I don't know exactly how it works this year as far as if a player decides they want to sit out because of all the different situations. Like, you can actually get a medical leave and you wouldn't have to play, but you still get paid, I think, most of your money. Or you can have, like, Pierce sits out, he still gets paid his amount of money. It just makes it messy because there's so many different criteria and different money, dollar values, but it's definitely not their actual agreed upon salary.
Yeah.
So that's got to get paid at some point. It's a messy situation.
And according to Odel Beckham Jr., they should just cancel the season because the owners don't see him as human beings.
Whoa. That was 2 weeks ago. Now that he saw the facility...
Oh, it's clean. It's really clean, guys.
He's such a mess.
It's kind of weird that quote came out so late after he already showed up to camp. He wasn't a holdout. He wasn't an opt-out. But now they're saying he's saying we shouldn't even play.
You ever forget to hit submit
bad reporting.
On something?
Let's just wait till
shit, that was due 2 weeks ago?
OBJ just went through his drafts on his Twitter handle. He just goes through his drafts, sends them all out, and that was one of them. He meant to tweet that 3 weeks ago when the players were doing their whole "we want to play" hashtag.
Shit, I forgot to do this.
It was a good point, though.
It's like, fuck, I really
can I at least get half credit? NFLPA.
God, he's got something every year.
He just likes to be in the headlines.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's not doing it because of his play right now.
Certainly not.
Definitely wasn't better than Thomas last year.
No.
Gage? Thoughts? Best to keep quiet on this one. I agree.
That was one of those bets that they call sucker bet. That's a sucker bet in the business. Michael Thomas versus Odell Beckham. Who scores more points in a PPR league? Well, let's see. Michael Thomas only about doubled Odell.
He had probably more points on receptions alone.
Yeah.
In other news, Jordan Reed signs a 1-year deal, incentive-laden, the 49ers. We did have a butthole bet on that. Does anybody remember it?
I don't remember if it was a butthole bet or just an argument, but there was a person that said that he will never play football again because his brain is mush, but he said it a different way. And do you think he'll make the team?
I don't think he makes the team, but...
Who's their number 2?
Tight end. I mean, Juszczyk is kind of...
Their number
plays
2.
all over the place.
I could see him making the team based off a salary cap and it being incentive. I mean, if he doesn't play that well or that much, it's kind of a good deal for him.
And when he was healthy, he was great.
Very good. One of the
fantasy-wise, might as well have been a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Okay, so from a tight end perspective, they have Kittle, they have something named Ross Dwelly, and Charlie Warner.
So they could use
besides Jordan Reed. So Jordan Reed, in my mind, is like slotted in the number 2 right off the bat, assuming he's healthy.
If he's healthy.
And with him being behind George Kittle and not having to be relied upon super heavily, I think he makes the team. I really do. Especially when they can use Juszczyk in the blocking packages and Jordan Reed won't have to get in there and block as much.
Yeah.
I could see him definitely making the team. I looked up on Twitter the hashtag butthole bet, and that bet's not popping up.
It may have just been an argument.
Could have been. We'd have to go back and listen.
That was back when Gage was reckless with his words and just said random things.
Some things haven't changed. Except for today. Good job, Gage.
Genius.
You know what, Gage? That was such a great take right there that we're just going to have to, take a little paid sponsor commercial break right here, right now. All right,
we're back.
And we're back, ready to attack.
Thank you for listening.
O'Reilly.
That is double O'Reilly right there.
You heard it twice. That one was actually free. That wasn't paid.
That one wasn't like the O'Reillys that comes in on the Ed Gein episode.
Ed Gein.
We're talking about the shit Ed Gein did. O'Reilly.
It was terribly and perfectly placed all at the same time.
I do get a little wild with my ad placements, so if you guys listen to the show and you're in the middle of good heated discussion about something, which we generally are, and an ad hits, I'm a little sorry, but I'm not sorry too because it does pay the bills.
Last week we stopped and we took a break, and then Scott didn't even plug him in the spots where we took breaks for him.
I missed one, all right? I'm sorry.
The whole episode.
It happens. Oh,
we only took one break. In other news, Joey Bosa signed a 5-year, $135 million extension. Highest paid defensive lineman in the NFL now. He's averaging like 27.5 a year or something along those lines.
Which leads
or maybe
to
27.
Which leads to the question, is he really worth that? Is he worth that amount of money?
I don't know. I mean, he plays very well. But that's a lot of money a year to pay a D lineman. But then it also makes you think, what is TJ Watt going to get? What is Nick Bosa going to get?
It does kind of set the market.
Is Danielle Hunter underpaid?
The trend the last few years has been, generally, if you're not a quarterback, pass rushers, star pass rushers, are the next most important position.
Yeah.
So they do get paid a lot. And I would say for him, at his age, at his impact, he's probably worth that money.
They're fortunate that they don't have a lot of guys on the team right now that draw huge contracts.
Right.
A couple of their defensive backs are going to be paid.
Yeah.
And they do have a really good defensive backfield.
Oh, it's
they got
ridiculous.
Like 4 or 5 studs between cornerbacks and safeties. But quarterback, Herbert, if things pan out, is not going to get paid for another 4-5 years. I got Austin Eckler tied up to a team-friendly deal. He's getting like $6 a year. Keenan Allen, I don't know what he's getting, but he's not a top-paid wide receiver. They don't have top-end money.
But he is the
guys.
best wide receiver in the AFC West.
Well,
per his own
tweet. You got to admire the guy coming out and having the confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I think a healthy Keenan Allen's about as productive and just rock solid, steady as it gets. He's going to catch everything. He's a good receiver. Not sexy, not flashy, but he's really good.
His numbers aren't going to be Michael Thomas.
No.
Or Mike Evans or Tyreek Hill. But they're going to be up there.
But he could also be a number 1 on a Super Bowl winner. He's good enough to be a number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. What was his highest fantasy season? Do you guys know?
Are you asking us because you know?
I do know.
Okay.
Wide receiver ranking overall. What was his highest?
Keenan Allen?
Yeah.
5.
I feel like it would have been a little bit a while ago. I'm going to say number 2 or 3.
He got really hot for the second half of one season, and reception-wise.
And he
Is
blew
PPR.
up.
It was PPR, yep.
I'm going to say 3 then, yeah.
Yeah, I would say 3 as well.
And you guys would be right.
Yeah.
3 was his top season. I think it was 17, maybe 18.
A couple years ago. Just absolutely blew up.
I mean, he's been solid. He's averaged somewhere around, minusing the season where he got hurt, because he was like 57th or something. He's been around that 10 range.
He's a very good receiver.
Yeah.
The thing is with him is he does get lost in the shuffle a little bit just because he's not the fastest guy on the field. He's not.
Doesn't score the most touchdowns.
Right.
Doesn't have the most grabs, but he puts up numbers.
Right. He's a target
he's reliable.
hog, and he's very reliable. I would argue he's probably the most reliable wide receiver in the league once Larry Fitzgerald retires, as far as track record goes and catches and just being a good safety blanket for a quarterback. He might be that next guy once Fitzgerald retires.
He's only like 27.
I know. He feels like he's really old.
Yeah. That's what happens when guys come in at 21 and...
Well, that was him from his rookie year on. He absolutely blew up.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen was a stud from the start.
Yep. Very good. You have an ABC.
I do. I have a Budhole ABC for the week. And my ABC, I'm stalling a little bit because I'm trying to find it, is...
We're a little off without our tomfoolery and skullduggery across the table.
Well, it makes it tough because he doesn't Gage deciding to go mute this episode to have his best ever episode. He's not rambling on about stupid shit, giving me time to sit and look on my phone at what I'm coming up with here. So, all right, I got it pulled up. My question to you guys is, which of these 3 wide receivers is going to score the most fantasy points in 2020 PPR format? A.J. Brown, JuJu Smith-Schuster, or Odel Beckham Jr.? Which one of those 3 do you think has the best chance to have the most points in a PPR league this year? Odel Beckham, JuJu Smith-Schuster, and A.J. Brown. Star, we'll start with you.
The setback is never as great as the comeback. So I think there's a couple players on this team ready to make comebacks. I'm going to go with JuJu. I think if they get a healthy Roethlisberger all year, JuJu can actually shine and do his thing. I feel like he just fell off the face of the earth last year. A.J. Brown's got a hard road because he's now the bona fide number one on that team. He's not going to surprise anyone. No one gives a shit about Corey Davis anymore.
Hey, now. Still on my fantasy team.
I don't even recall who the third person was. Oh, Odell Beckham. I just think there's too many mouths to feed.
Shots fired.
I couldn't remember. It's not shots. Too many mouths to feed on the Browns. And he's not a huge PPR guy. Landry's the reception guy. So I'm going with JuJu.
Odell Beckham does get nipped in the butt a little bit, I think, on upside, just with Jarvis Landry being in Cleveland. Because Odell kind of thrives on being the, without a doubt, number one with a bullet. And for him not being that, I think it does hurt his upside. And I personally am a big fan of JuJu Smith-Schuster this year. Assuming Big Ben stays healthy, I think he's got a shot to have a really good season. So as much as I like A.J. Brown, I'm going to go JuJu Smith-Schuster as well here. Brandon?
Starting to feel like a JuJu fan club over here. I think we're 3 for 3 on this totem pole. Odell has a lot of targets that are going to be taken away from him. You got Jarvis, you got Hooper, Hunt's back for the full season.
David Njoku. You can't forget about David Njoku.
And he's all in on Cleveland now.
Yeah. He's all in, baby.
Forget them trade requests. Let's go.
And
he must have saw the facility, too.
Odell called him to tell him about it.
Nick Chubb is still on the team.
Yeah.
So they have people who are going to take targets away from him. I think he's going to have a good year, but not a great year. A.J. Brown, like you said, people know who he is. I'm not the biggest Ryan Tannehill guy. I don't think he's bad, so I guess I'm on Gage's side. But I don't think he's great. So I'm going to have to go with JuJu as well. He only played 12 games last year. He came in 184th overall.
Yeah.
This was players. I should sort that by wide receivers because that's different. But
I had him last year. He was not great.
But Big Ben coming back, he was 65th overall in wide receivers, which was still behind Adam Thielen by a point, and he only played 10 games. So, and Corey Davis, the guy you're knocking. But with a healthy Big Ben and not playing that carousel of Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph, I think JuJu could be a top 20 wide receiver.
And you got Deontay Johnson
taking targets away.
Yeah.
Chase Claypool is on the team now,
Rookie,
too.
Yep.
I think it's prime for him to have a bounce back year.
I agree. He just needs to stay off that Fortnite.
Well, are we ready for trivia?
Yeah. I got a game that I've made a long time ago that I would like to play. It's just a normal trivia game. I'll ask a question. Some of them are multiple choice. Some of them are not. I would like for you guys to ding in. I will be the judge on who dinged first.
Tom Brady.
And nope. So we're going to go from there. It's best of 7. We'll read the questions if someone...
If I ding in and get it wrong, do I have a chance to rebuttal? Or am I done?
No. If he gets it wrong, then you can go again.
Sweet.
All right, our first question is... Go.
Star Lamar.
No.
Damn it.
Name the all-time leading rusher in Bears history. This is the layup, and you dinged early.
This is the fridge.
No.
Ding. Walter Payton.
Walter Payton is correct.
The fridge was a defensive lineman.
Walter Payton finished with...
I don't know why I just did that.
16,726 yards.
What a start.
It actually leads every rusher ever.
You dinged it. I'm like, fuck, he's got
Bears
it.
history.
The fridge.
No, I don't know why I just did that.
All right, well, the score is 1-0, Brandino. All right, second question. Who has the most career touchdown catches in New Orleans Saints history?
Ding.
Brandon.
Marcus Colston.
That is correct. 2 points to Brandon. He is 2 away from winning. Next question. Jerry Rice leads everyone as receiving yards over 40 years old with over 6,000. Who is in second place with the most receiving yards over 40 years old?
Over 40.
Was that in our lifetime?
Yes.
I'll say dang, and I'll go Torrey Holt.
Nope. Torrey Holt had 0 yards over 40.
Can you give me a list of players
No, you can't
that
help.
played
Nope.
over 40? Seeing as how I just have kind of a free shot at this, I'm going to go ahead and say... Who's the other guy on the team? Mason. Who's the other guy in the Rams that played with them?
Well, there was a lot of guys that played with him.
It was Torrey Holt, and it was also... Fuck, I can't think of his name.
All right, you timed out.
Yep.
Wrong. I'll give a hint, and then 8 seconds, someone has to yell it out. No more dinging. They are a current NFL player.
Larry Fitzgerald.
7,
36.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Coming in at 6 yards, Tom Brady is the only other player over 40 to have any reception yards. Every other player has 0 besides Brett Favre, who has -2 receiving yards.
Are you kidding me? That's crazy.
Over 40.
That's a sneak.
Jerry Rice had over 6,000, so that just goes to show the longevity of that man's career.
He had a hell of a career after 40. So he
Wow.
played what did he play? A 44, 45?
I was
Whatever.
thinking
It doesn't
wideouts.
matter
I
right
wasn't
now.
thinking quarterbacks.
I wasn't thinking quarterbacks
you
at
think
all.
That was
wide
the trick
receivers.
question,
Yeah,
and it
that's a
was
good
supposed
one.
to be my first one, but you dinged Tom Brady before I could read it, so I switched it up.
Sneaky son of a bitch. That's something you would do.
Oh, I did ding Tom Brady. So did I get half a point?
No, because I hadn't even started a
But
question
that was your first
yet.
question.
It was my first one written down. I didn't necessarily know I was going to go with it first.
Brandon's the
He
Star
did-
Lamar's trivia oracle.
He did retire at 44, yes.
Okay. That's what I
Damn,
thought.
I'm good.
Damn it, you're good, yeah.
All right.
He had a hell of a career after
2 to
40.
nothing, Brandon. There are 2 teams tied for the most Super Bowl losses. One of them is the Patriots. Who is the other team?
Dang, Buffalo Bills.
No.
Ding. Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wrong. Hint. They have won 3 Super Bowls in our lifetime.
Green Bay
Dang.
Packers.
Broncos.
Broncos.
Damn it.
Brandon has
Weren't
3.
we yelling it out at that point?
Huh?
You still were wrong.
Yeah, but
I got a
yeah,
little
you
excited.
still were wrong.
Okay. Brandon dinged, and I was like, you don't have to ding, bro. Just go.
Well,
All
I'm
right,
efficient.
so this is one more point
I
for
gotta run
Brandon,
the
and he
table.
wins a clean sweep.
I gotta run the table here.
we'll
And
just
that's
go
just
all
for
the
a tie.
points.
Then I have to come off the top
Well,
with the
fuck.
question.
What the
And then
fuck?
I get that half point.
All
for
right,
Tom Brady.
name the last non-quarterback to win the MVP award.
Dang.
Scott.
Adrian Peterson.
Adrian Peterson is correct.
Yes.
1 point for Scott. The clean
Yes.
sweep is gone.
Brandon's pissed over that. He's red in the face right now. He's so mad because he knew it.
I felt bad for you. Had to give you a point.
All right, this one is a multiple choice. I'm going to give you 5 quarterbacks. You have to tell me which one of them has the most career wins. Russell Wilson, Andy Dalton, Alex Smith, Matt Stafford, and Cam Newton.
Ding. Alex Smith.
Alex Smith does have the most career wins by 1 over Russell Wilson.
I knew that too when he said that.
He had a lot of seasons that were like 10, 11, 12 wins.
And he's also 33 years old.
Yeah,
Or
he played a
34.
lot longer than
Yeah.
Russell Wilson has. But the rest of them go in order. When Alex Smith, Russell Wilson, Andy Dalton, Matt Stafford, Cam Newton, all within a couple wins of each other. All right, we'll do the next one just for fun.
Why is that?
Because Brandon won our first ever I make up questions while we're talking trivia challenge.
The only
good.
trivia I never hosted.
For Wayne, it's pretty good.
Well,
All
that's
right,
not true.
this is
We
the
played
same
8
type of
games.
question. I'm going to
Yeah.
give you 5 players. You have to tell me who has the most career rushing yards out of these players. Todd Gurley, Lamar Miller, Devontae Freeman, Ezekiel Elliott, Melvin Gordon.
Ding. Elliott.
No,
Lamar Miller.
Lamar Miller does.
He's got the same old. He's played the longest. And he's
I was
actually been
worried it was
functional.
going to be obvious
Yeah.
because he doesn't fit in the elite group with the
So
rest of them.
4-2 to 0.
Yeah, Lamar Miller barely edged out Gurley.
Yeah, I was a little bit torn between Gurley and Miller, but I was going Miller just because of the age factor.
And that was the first and last ever Star Lamar trivia.
No, it doesn't have to be last ever. This
You
was
can't say
fun.
last ever. You don't never know that. There might be a week that Brandon's out and you're the only qualified backup because nobody else has ever done it before.
Like next week. I am out next week.
Oh, Brandon's out next week.
Uh-oh. We might all have COVID, so...
Oh, God. Oh, no, not everywhere. You just coughed on me. Well, I suppose. With that being said, Star, you got anything else you wanted to throw in? You look like you're thinking something.
No, my brain's so big, it's constantly working.
Looks like it's moving inside your
Yeah,
head.
I don't know how all the thoughts fit.
Well, okay, we'll be nice.
There's a lot of incredible thoughts up there.
Gage hasn't said anything the whole episode. We'll give him his opportunity. Gage, any closing words before we sign off here? He's really set on having his best ever show.
All right, with that being said, go jerk off.
Bye.
Make sure to check us out on Facebook, Budhole. Check us out on Twitter as well, @OfficialBudhole, Instagram, @OfficialBudhole, TikTok, @OfficialBudhole. And if you have questions or comments, email us at officialbudhole@gmail.com. Also, make sure to check out our Teespring website where we have sweatshirts and t-shirts, and our website itself where we post blogs and whatnot. Both of the links will be posted in our description for the episode. Please leave a rating on whichever platform you're listening on, as well as make sure to hit that subscribe button so we can continue to bring you the great content we create, as well as make it even better for the future. We love you all. Peace out.